Now on Coast TV News.
Democrats demand to win in a party line vote the controversial bill that nullifies Sussex County's decision on the Millsboro substation is approved in the Delaware Senate.
Nature Plan, the protection of undeveloped land, is back in front of Fenwick Island officials later today.
EMS in emergency.
That was not meant to be an ambulance station.
The fundraiser taking place today to help first responders in Sussex County.
A warm and drier Wednesday for Delmarva with comfortable humidity levels. Warm to hot the rest of the week. And the weekend, unfortunately, looking a bit unsettled with some rain. Forecast details coming up.
This is Coast TV News Today.
It is Wednesday, June 11th, 2025. Good morning, I'm Matt Pensick.
And good morning, I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us for our 5 o'clock hour.
Yeah, I actually saw clear skies.
The moon was really bright this morning, too.
On the way in, it's been a while.
I know. We actually saw this thing called sun yesterday afternoon.
Did see that. I know you saw some creatures on your drive-in.
I always have to say hi to the deer.
Your buddies.
Absolutely. They're always out there, but it's better to see deer when it's not foggy. So
that's a good point.
I don't want to see them regardless, as you can't predict them. But Bob, the good thing was better visibility this morning.
Yes, but not perfect. And I also did see a little deer party as well, Elisa and Matt. About 5 of them on the side of the road. I said, don't run across the street, and they didn't. They listened to me. Good morning, everybody. We are still looking at areas of fog. Now, the cold front is still back to our west. We're looking at a beautiful day, but out ahead of that front, a little bit of haze and fog around Salisbury, 1.5 miles for you there. But elsewhere, we're looking at 9 to 10 miles from Ocean City, Georgetown to the eastern shore. So just take it a little slower around Salisbury this morning with some haze and fog. Otherwise, we have some clouds out there, but the trend is for clearing skies as we're seeing showers and storms moving offshore, and the cold front is just off to our north and west, and that will be sliding through the next couple of hours, ushering in much drier air as we go through the day. It's going to be a gorgeous day with high pressure building in, lots of sunshine and comfortable humidity levels. Out the door right now, mid to upper 60s, even 70 at Indian River Inlet, 67 Georgetown, Millsboro 66, Gumboro 65. And we like to see this, winds out of the west-northwest. That'll be the case today, drying us out even more. So a little bit of fog this morning, especially near Salisbury into Berlin. Otherwise, we're looking at temperatures warming through the 70s, and then by noon into the low 80s from Salisbury to Selbyville, and Millsboro 70s at the coast.
All right, our top story this hour, a controversial bill has cleared a hurdle in Delaware's General Assembly. We're talking about Senate Bill 159. It passed the Senate along party line votes. All 15 Democrats voting for it. 5 Republicans voted against it. 1 GOP Senator, Gerald Hawker, was absent. The bill would overturn Sussex County's denial of a permit for alternative energy company U.S. Wind to build an electric substation near Millsboro. The legislation now heads to the Delaware House for consideration.
Later today, the Delaware House of Representatives is scheduled to convene in Dover. If today is like all the other days this year, District 20 Democrat Stell Parker Selby will again fail to show up at Legislative Hall. Parker Selby, who represents roughly 23,000 registered voters in Lewis, Milton, and the Harbison areas, have missed every single House vote this year. That's 102 votes. Sources confirmed to Coast TV that Parker Selby had a stroke this winter. Her office has yet to return our calls for comment. And this is now going to bring us to our Coast TV poll. We want to know what should happen to Representative Stell Parker Selby's seat.
Yeah, let's take a look at the updated results. 57%, a strong number of you saying she should resign. We got 27% voting for wait her turn, and then we got some people chiming in on House should remove her. 1% saying the governor should get involved. And if you haven't voted yet, you can still do so at coasttv.com or our mobile app. In the but wait, there's more category, there is a lot of action on a number of bills in the General Assembly on Tuesday, including 19 pieces of legislation voted on in the House of Representatives. Some of the bills include those dealing with emergency planning, child care licensing, and school-based health centers.
New this morning, help could soon be on the way for Delaware families struggling with rising energy costs. Lawmakers passed a bill that would make gas and electric bills more affordable for low-income households. House Substitute 2 for House Bill 116 would allow the Delaware Public Service Commission to approve lower utility rates for families that qualify for programs like the Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program. If approved, the delivery portion of gas and electric bills could be reduced by up to 20%. That bill now heads to the Senate.
Today in Georgetown, a carnival set to kick off. This will benefit Georgetown EMS. Now, you might recall this comes as a recently released financial report, detailed findings that show American Legion Georgetown EMS. It's one of the most financially strained emergency service providers in Sussex County. To help raise funds, a carnival is running through Saturday, June 14th. The time for Wednesday to Friday, 6 to 10 p.m. And then on Saturday, you can visit 3 to 10 p.m. Officials say current space there is just not enough.
We're operating out of a garage that was not meant to be an ambulance station. And we're just coming up with ways for fundraisers.
Parking for the event available at the surrounding streets except on Swan and Alfred Streets, according to the agency. To view our coverage of the financial report of the Sussex Fire Department's you can visit CoastTV.com.
Happening today, BB Healthcare is opening its doors to the community for an open house at the new Long Neck Health Center. The event kicks off with the ribbon cutting at 3 p.m., followed by tours. Organizers say the center will soon welcome 4 new physician residents, allowing for around 20,000 appointments per year. Services will include men's and pediatric care, mental health, support, dermatology, and more.
We're expecting an update on Fenwick Island's work on a nature preserve. It's one of the few pieces of undeveloped land left in the town. Town's environmental committee scheduled to go over this at their morning meeting. It was back in April that the environmental committee member, Deborah Cowell, asked town council to pay nearly $2,000 for a landscape plan and rendering. The hope is to have a dedication ceremony at the preserve this fall. Today's meeting takes place at 9 a.m. New overnight as more protests pop up across the country. President Trump defending his moves to send Marines and National Guard to Los Angeles while threatening more force.
This as lawmakers on Capitol Hill are seizing on the politics of it all and weighing into the fray. NBC's Chris Pallone shows us the differing efforts between both federal and local governments to de-escalate the situation.
The streets of downtown Los Angeles largely quiet overnight after the city's mayor instituted a mandatory curfew. It followed another day of protests against widespread federal immigration raids. California Governor Gavin Newsom condemned the violent confrontations between protesters and police, which started Friday.
I want to be clear about this. If you incite violence or destroy our communities, you're going to be held to account.
But Newsom once again accused President Trump of making the situation worse. The president sending thousands of National Guard troops and hundreds of Marines to L.A. against the wishes of state and local leaders. Newsom now suing to send them home.
He again chose escalation. He chose more force. He chose theatrics over public safety. We do not want our streets militarized by our own armed forces, not in LA, not in California, not anywhere.
Speaking to soldiers in North Carolina, President Trump defended the deployments.
If we didn't do this, Los Angeles would burn. It would be burning to the ground right now, just like the houses burned to the ground just a few months ago.
On Capitol Hill, Democrats pressed Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth on the price tag for the National Guard deployment.
Could the Secretary please address the budget? Thank you.
You asked about the situation in Los Angeles, and we believe ICE agents should be allowed to be safe in doing their operations.
The Pentagon revealing it will cost roughly $134 million. And it appears the Trump administration will soon target other cities.
Should people expect to see similar operations in the rest of the country?
Yeah.
And will similar protests see similar response?
Chris Pallone, NBC News, Washington.
We're just getting started in this hour of Coast TV News today.
Coming up, proclamation during Pride. Why Delaware state leaders and advocates say this year's celebration is especially meaningful.
Also, pets over capacity. We'll tell you why the Brandywine Valley SPCA says contributing to more this month may be the highest in May in its intake.
And Torch Run today. We'll tell you where in Sussex County the Torch will visit. All that and more as Coast TV News Today continues.
5:11 on our Wednesday morning. Looking at decent visibility right now in Ocean City on the Gateway Subaru Cam, but there is some areas of fog right now around Salisbury, a mile and a half for you, so just take it slow out there. The rest of us pretty good visibility as we're watching a cold front heading our way. Out the door temperatures mid to upper 60s, even 70 at Indian River Inlet. Still on the muggy side, but the winds starting to shift to the west now, and we're seeing the skies mainly clear. A little bit of fog once again around Maryland, and we are watching a cold cold front that's working its way through Delmarva as we speak, and that will usher in drier and cooler air, much more comfortable air as we go through the day. Gave you the green light for the morning commute as we're drying out. Do watch for areas of fog, especially around Salisbury. And then this afternoon and evening, perfect. Warm conditions, lots of sunshine, and comfortable humidity levels.
The 39th annual Law Enforcement Torch Run for Special Olympics Delaware kicks off today, uniting nearly 800 troopers from across the state. We have some images from that event last year. Delaware State Police say it spans 3 days with several legs. The torch will be carried by officers honoring athletes with intellectual disabilities. And one of today's key stops includes the Rehoboth Beach Bandstand at 7 o'clock tonight.
Drivers in Sussex County be prepared for some overnight delays on Route 24 near Hollyville Road in Millsboro. DelDOT says lane closures will begin nightly from 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. starting tonight and continuing on through June 12th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th. The work is a part of a temporary widening project to connect Route 24 to the new Millsboro bypass.
Now, looking ahead in Salisbury, drivers can expect a temporary closure on the Naylor Mill Road Bridge next Tuesday. That's June 17th. That bridge will close to drivers and pedestrians from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
China's trade negotiator says the U.S. and China have agreed on a trade framework. Officials for both sides will now take the proposals back to their leaders for approval. This deal comes after the latest round of talks Monday and Tuesday in London. The major sticking points have been China's control over so-called rare earth materials and its access to semiconductor technology originating from the U.S.
General Motors plans to invest $4 billion into 3 U.S. plants to boost production of gas and electric vehicles. GM's plan reflects the rush by manufacturers to invest in the United States to sidestep President Trump's tariffs. GM CEO Mary Barra previously said that 25% tariff on cars and car parts would cost the company between $4 to $5 billion this year.
We're seeing brightening skies right now on the Dry Tech Cam. Good visibility in Ocean City and mild 70 degrees. A little bit of fog early on, and then the cold front will sweep out that humidity. A beautiful day with sunshine for Delmarva, and then warm to hot the rest of the weekend. A little muggier. The weekend, unfortunately, looking a little wet. I'll have your forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
Time is 5:16, and you are looking live at the Wednesday morning scene in Ocean City. Not totally clear, but the visibility much better today, Bob, than what we've recently experienced at this time in the morning.
Oh, big time, Matt. Yeah, last 2 mornings we had that widespread fog. Right now I'm just looking at an isolated pocket of fog, and that's right around Salisbury right now, about 4 miles. Visibility has been fluctuating here. It was down to 1.5 miles, so use extra caution here across Wicomico County. Elsewhere, though, 9 to 10 miles, and we'll be seeing those conditions improving even more as we go through the morning hours as a cold front comes through. And the muggy meter, we're looking comfortable today, but that's short-lived because the heat and humidity returns for the end of the week. Humid to very humid conditions, maybe slightly better into the weekend and maybe a little drier into early next week. Temperatures out the door, very mild. Temperatures into the mid to upper 60s, even 70. Indian River Inlet 65 in Delmar and Gumboro, and Georgetown right now at 67. As we're looking at west-northwesterly winds, we like to see that when we want some drier air, and we'll see that wind direction today drying us out, but it's going to be a process as we're still looking at some clouds across Delmarva. Any kind of showers and storms are offshore, and we're tracking a cold front making its way across the region, and that's a leading edge to much drier air and clear skies from the Ohio Valley and back into the Midwest as well with high pressure, and this high will settle over us and give us beautiful weather basically for the rest of the week. But then as it settles over us, well, that air is going to begin to percolate. We're going to build a dome of high pressure both at the surface and aloft. So that means building heat with comfortable conditions today, and then a little muggier Thursday and Friday with temperatures in the mid to upper 80s. I think tomorrow's a day we could hit 90 degrees, maybe slightly cooler, but still very warm as we go into your Friday. Here's Futurecast this morning. We're looking at some fog, Sussex County, back through Salisbury into the coast. Otherwise, as that front comes through, that'll scour out the humidity. Temperatures in the 70s this morning, lower to 80s by the noon hour. Inland areas with mid to upper 70s at the beaches, and a gorgeous afternoon. Lots of sunshine. 84 Millsboro, Delmarva, maybe 85 in Salisbury with 70s and 80s at the coast. A gorgeous evening on the way, so get out there and enjoy. And as we go into Thursday morning, it's mild and dry with temperatures in the 60s and low 70s. And then by the noon hour, mid 80s Salisbury back through Millsboro. And then it gets hot as we go into the mid afternoon hours tomorrow. Upper 80s close to 90 in a lot of inland locations. 89 Long Neck, 88 Millsboro and Salisbury. You'll find relief at the coast with temperatures in the 70s and 80s there. So beautiful beach weather as we go through the next couple of days. As we go into the weekend, unfortunately, the beautiful weather goes away. We're looking at clouds increasing, afternoon showers and some thunderstorms possible. And I was hoping for a drier Sunday for Dad on Father's Day, but unfortunately, I don't know, cloudy, cool with some showers. Looks like those showers will linger Sunday into Monday. Paul Davis 7-day forecast, 84 today with sunshine, flirting with 90 Thursday. I'm going 89, but inland locations probably hitting 90, mid 80s Friday, and then showers and storms Saturday, 82, and then cooler, cloudy with showers on Sunday, on Father's Day. Sorry, Dad, 76 and lingering showers into Monday and 77 degrees. Umbrella giveaway winner is Michael Parnell from Milford. Congratulations to him from Paul Davis and Coast TV.
Thank you, Bob. Happening today, Chincoteague is getting a start on mosquito control. The town says crews will be in the area this morning starting at 6 a.m. The mosquito control department will be spraying until 8 a.m. Officials say these efforts are island-wide.
A recent surge in stray and neglected animals has pushed the Brandywine Valley SPCA's Dover campus beyond its capacity. With kennels full, dozens of dogs are now being housed in the lobby, waiting for their chance at a new home. The shelter is calling on the community to help by opening their hearts and homes through fostering or adopting.
I'm really hoping that we can grow our foster program. That's really what we need to do. If we could have, 1 out of every 5 people in Dover want to foster, that would be amazing. We wouldn't have this overflow problem.
In May alone, the shelter took in nearly 80 dogs. 63% were strays, 32% were seized from cruelty or neglect cases, making the highest intake this year.
More to come this morning on Coast TV News Today. Proclamation during Pride will tell you what message this year's celebration sends amid ongoing political challenges. Don't go anywhere.
The Ocean City Air Show takes place later this week. Get ready for traffic, street closures, and limited parking. The show runs from June 14th to the 15th, and this year it'll feature the U.S. Navy Blue Angels, the F-16 Viper demo team, and more that are yet to be revealed.
Delaware marked Pride Month this week with a flag-raising ceremony at Legislative Hall. During the event, Governor Meyer presented a proclamation officially recognizing June 2025 as Pride Month across the state. Advocates and state leaders say this year's celebration is especially meaningful as LGBT+ communities continue to face growing challenges from Washington and across the country. They say flying the Pride flag at the Capitol sends a strong message of visibility, inclusion, and support.
Raising this flag on this property today and this proclamation is symbolic of a new way of thinking about all of our Delaware neighbors and making sure that everyone is included.
State leaders say this is the first time the Pride flag has been hung outside of Legislative Hall.
Next, Delaware is one step closer to protecting marriage equality in its state constitution. This week, state senators passed the first leg of a constitutional amendment that would guarantee marriage as a fundamental right, regardless of gender, race, or other protected categories. Senate Bill 100 is sponsored by Russ Huxtable, and also on the House side, Representative Claire Snyder Hall, who would ensure all legal marriages are treated equally under Delaware law. And that bill is now in the House, does not require governor's signature.
There will be programming change on June 13th. You need to be aware of. The U.S. Open will air from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. Then Wheel of Fortune begins at 7 p.m. and NBC Nightly News at 7:30. There will be Coast TV News at 5 or 6. There will not be Coast TV News at 5 or 6 this day. And Matt, Bob just said during the break, it's going to be a beautiful beach day.
I heard him say that. You asked the question.
We haven't heard that.
I think we deserve a beautiful beach day, Bob.
You know, you guys were complaining
I do
about
complain.
the beach weather the last several days. I said, okay, I'll bring a nice day. And beautiful beach weather today behind a cold front, lots of sunshine, maybe a little morning haze, Fenwick Island and Ocean City, mid to upper 70s. Have the higher SPF sunscreen. It's going to be strong sunshine. 80 in Lewis, 79 in Rehoboth. Beautiful conditions. Rip current threat low, but still swim with a buddy to stay safe. On the Bayside, UV index high, lower 80s in Cambridge, lots of sunshine, much lower humidity today, and lower 80s into Crisfield as well. As we're looking at the heat building as we go through the week, could see our first 90 of the season and an unsettled weekend. I'll talk about some rain chances coming up in the next half hour.
On CoastTV News today, Carnival collects for EMS. We'll tell you what Georgetown EMS hopes to purchase with proceeds from a fundraiser that starts today.
Also, utility bill benefit, how this new piece of legislation could help some families in Delaware lower their gas and electric bills.
And wind protection win, the first step in overturning a Sussex County decision is now complete. CoastTV News today. We'll be right back.
Now on CoastTV News.
Partisan power play. Democrats in the Delaware State Senate approve a bill that scales back Sussex County's authority on the controversial wind farm project.
Downtown tensions, what occurred overnight in Los Angeles, as we are now in the 6th day of unrest over deportation efforts of illegal migrants.
EMS in emergency, the fundraiser taking place today to help first responders in Sussex County.
A warm and drier Wednesday for Delmarva with comfortable humidity levels, warm to hot the rest of the week, and the weekend unfortunately looking a bit unsettled with some rain. Forecast details coming up.
This is CoastTV News Today.
11th, 2025. Good morning, everybody. I'm Matt Pensick. Good morning, Elisa.
Good morning, Matt. Good morning. I'm Elisa Weber. Thank you for joining us.
Time is 5:30. Last full day of school for several of our districts.
That's exciting. I have some friends who are teachers, and they're like, I'm so excited for summer vacation. I'm like,
it's here.
It's
here.
here.
A lot of seniors have already had graduation ceremonies, so this is more for the underclassmen.
And colleges have almost been done for like a month
now,
which is crazy. Yes, definitely. But Bob, if you're leaving school today, it's definitely going to be warm outside, which is an exciting thing to walk outside to.
Oh yeah, those kids will be running out the doors and rejoicing in the fact that school is almost over. And it'll be beautiful this afternoon. We're dealing with a little bit of fog this morning, 1 mile in Salisbury. That's really the only pocket of fog we're seeing right now. A cold front will sweep all this out here the next hour or so. And we're still seeing some lingering clouds, but nothing in the way of precipitation. That is moving offshore as we are tracking this cold front that will move in. And that's the leading edge to much drier air as we go through the day. It's going to be beautiful. Once this front comes through, it's going to be a picture-perfect day out there as high pressure will be building in and giving us more comfortable conditions. Temperatures in the mid to upper 60s out the door this morning. Still that muggy feel, but the winds are starting to shift to the west, and that will bring in that drier air. But still watch out for some haze and fog around Delmar to Salisbury, Ocean City early on this morning, and then we clear it out. Temperatures rising through the 70s, humidity levels dropping, lower 80s inland areas around the noon hour, 70s and 80s at the beaches. A beautiful beach day, and by mid-afternoon, 84 in Millsboro, 84 in Delmar, 85 in Salisbury, but it'll be comfortable with lower humidity levels and gorgeous at the coast and a beautiful evening on the way. But a little foggy for the kiddos as they're wrapping up school, 66 off to school, but then that fog should quickly burn off here the next couple of hours, and then a beautiful afternoon heading home, lots of sunshine and temperatures in the low to mid 80s.
Thank you, Bob. Our top story this hour, a controversial bill has cleared a hurdle in Delaware's General Assembly. We're talking about Senate Bill 159. It passed in the Senate along party line votes, all 15 Democrats voting for it, 5 Republicans voted against it. The GOP Senator Gerald Hawker was absent. The bill would overturn Sussex County's denial of a permit for alternative energy company U.S. Wind to build an electric substation near Millsboro. The legislation now heads to the Delaware House for consideration.
Later today, the Delaware House of Representatives scheduled to convene in Dover, and if today is like all the other days this year, District 20 Democrat Del Parker Selby will again fail to show up at Legislative Hall. Parker Selby, who represents roughly 23,000 registered voters in Lewis, Milton, Harbison, and other areas, has missed every single House vote this year. That's 102 votes. Sources confirmed to Coast TV that Parker Selby had a stroke this winter. Her office is yet to return our calls for comment.
New this morning, help could soon be on the way for Delaware families struggling with rising energy costs. Lawmakers passed a bill that would make gas and electric bills more affordable for low-income households. House Substitute 2 for House Bill 116 would allow the Delaware Public Service Commission to approve lower utility rates for families that qualify for programs like LIHEAP. If approved, the delivery portion of gas and electric bills could be reduced by up to 20%. That bill now heads to the Senate.
Today in Georgetown, a carnival set to kick off to benefit the Georgetown EMS. Now, you might recall this comes as a recently released financial report detailing findings that show American Legion Georgetown EMS is one of the most financially strained providers in Sussex County. And to help raise funds, a carnival is happening today through Saturday, June 14th. Today to Friday, the times are 6 to 10 p.m. Then on Saturday, you can visit 3 to 10 p.m.
Happening today, BB Healthcare is opening its doors to the community for an open house at the new Long Neck Health Center. The event kicks off with the ribbon cutting at 3 p.m., followed by tours. Organizers say the center will soon welcome 4 new physician residents, allowing for around 20,000 appointments per year. Services will include men's and pediatric care, mental health support, dermatology, and more.
New York, Chicago, Boston, of course, Los Angeles. Those are just a few of the cities where demonstrators have been protesting deportation attempts of illegal immigrants, a number of protests becoming violent.
President Trump says he wants to, quote, restore law and order, and police say they made mass arrests in LA. But as Amy Kiley shows us, many state and local officials claim almost all of the protesters are following the law.
Ice out of New York! Ice out of New York!
Thousands are taking to the streets across the country to protest immigration and customs enforcement. The epicenter is Los Angeles. City officials say the vast majority of demonstrators there are following the law.
When these peaceful rallies end and the protesters head home, another element moves in.
Officials say more than 20 LA businesses have been looted, and a small part of the city had a curfew last night.
I would appeal to the president to stop the ICE raids so that we can have stability in our city.
National Guard members are in LA against the governor's wishes. A U.S. official says hundreds of Marines the president mobilized have been briefed on rules for use of force on American soil.
We do not want our streets militarized by our own armed forces, not in LA, not in California, not anywhere.
Other demonstrations have been in Washington, Boston, Atlanta, Denver, Milwaukee, San Francisco, New York, Chicago, and more. This video shows a car cutting through a crowd of protesters in the Windy City. The White House says undocumented immigrants broke the law by entering the U.S. illegally. Demonstrators say ICE shouldn't go after those who are otherwise law-abiding.
They've taken 4 or 5 students from where I work. These are all of our children. And we need to take care of them and protect them and their families.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Developing news across the world, at least 11 people were killed in a school shooting Tuesday in the Austrian city of Graz, with multiple others injured. Police say they recovered 2 guns that were used by the shooter, adding that there was only 1 suspect. Police say the suspected shooter is among the dead and later identified the suspect as a 21-year-old man from Graz, adding that he appeared to have died by suicide.
Got a lot more news to get to. Don't go anywhere.
Coming up, Tough Turtle will show you the progress of this little guy after being rescued off of Assateague Island.
Also, All-Star Baseball in Delaware, the seniors that stood out in the annual Blue Gold game.
We salute Bob Schneider, a distinguished veteran of the U.S. Army whose valor and expertise were demonstrated both in the air and on the terrain of Vietnam and Japan from 1967 to 1971. Specializing in Morse code, Mr. Schneider was instrumental in intercepting and deciphering enemy transmissions, thus furnishing critical intelligence on enemy troop movements and communication channels.
Spicer Brothers and Coast TV are honoring military persons and first responders serving Delmarva. If you have a family member, friend, or community member that you would like to nominate for a Coast TV salute, go to coasttvsalutes.com.
High 40 on our Wednesday morning. Seeing some haze, a little bit of fog in Salisbury, so take it slow out there. Maybe some wet roads too. 64, you can see a half-mile visibility in fog right now. Elsewhere, we're in good shape, and we have a cold front on the way, and that will scour the fog out here in the next few hours. Out the door, mid to upper 60s. It still has that muggy feel, but hang in there. We'll see drier air today as the winds are starting to come in out of the west, and still some clouds, a little bit of fog. Otherwise, that cold front is making inroads into Delmarva as we speak, and once it moves through, we will see some drier air as we go through the day. We're looking at a beautiful day on the way for the region. So for the first time in a long time, I can say break out the golf clubs. It's going to be fantastic out there, but bring the water and the sunscreen. Sunny and warm, comfortable humidity levels, and 84 degrees. And call the Coast TV First Alert weather phone for your latest forecast, sponsored by Brockstead Mandalis Federico.
A young sea turtle rescued off of Assateague Island is getting closer to a return to the ocean. The loggerhead named Pegasus was found floating and lethargic last year. She's been in long-term rehab ever since, but has been struggling to dive and swim. Now she's made progress and has been moved to the New York Marine Rescue Center to continue recovering. Groups hope the extra space will help her build strength and get ready for release back into the wild.
Happening today, if you live in Lewis, you may notice low water pressure or discolored water. The Lewis Board of Public Works conducting hydrant flow testing in the Old Town, Whites Pond, and Chestnut Street areas. To clear your water, run it on cold for 10 to 15 minutes. Avoid doing laundry during this time to prevent staining.
New this morning, Ocean City is reminding locals and visitors of its scooter rules. As temperatures heat up, the town says no electric scooters are allowed on the boardwalk. Officials urge people to avoid disaster by obeying traffic signals, ride in sync with the direction of traffic, yield to walkers, and stay off of sidewalks.
Delmarva Sports Network from the Wawa Studios.
The best seniors in Delaware took the baseball field one final time last night. It was the annual Bob Colborn Blue Gold All-Star Game. Let's get into the action. At Frawley Stadium, where Team Gold features plenty of familiar faces from Delmarva, taking on a primarily northern Delaware Team Blue. Top of the fifth, Team Blue up to bat, and Dom Liguori sends a rocket to deep left field, and only the bullpen can catch it. A two-run shot gives Team Blue an early lead. Later in the game, all tied at 2. Here's Liguori again, ripping it down the line. 2 more runs come home, and it's a 4-2 lead. Top of the fifth, 5-4 Team Blue, but Woodbridge's Austin Griffith hits it to deep right, and it brings in the game-tying run for Team Gold. Later in the inning, Hermes Rodriguez from Polytech gets one on the hands and bloops it into left field. Team Gold takes a 1-run lead. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Team Gold up 8-5, but Preston Boyd changes that with a 2 RBI double to make it a 1-run game. This game would get closer in a game full of lead changes. The 2025 Blue Gold All-Star Game ends in a 9-9 tie. That'll do it for sports. Have a great day, everyone.
Here's what's coming up tonight on DSN at 8:30. Bennett takes on Parkside and boys lacrosse. Then it's the final score at 10:30. On the DSN Plus app, along with that lacrosse game, you get at 3 the girls' Blue Gold soccer game. And right after that at 5, it is the boys' Blue Gold soccer game. We have a developing situation in Delaware high school sports. A bill passed in the state Senate on Tuesday is attempting to determine if private schools have an advantage in athletic competition. It directs the sports governing body, the DIAA, to review 5 years of data on state championships and make policy recommendations. A report is due to the General Assembly in April of 2026. That bill is now under review in the State House.
And now here's a look at some of the top stories in the world of entertainment. Here's Rick Damangella with today's Hollywood Minute.
We haven't seen the last of Wonder Woman on the big screen. James Gunn, who co-runs DC Studios, tells Entertainment Weekly that a new Wonder Woman movie is in the works and being written as we speak. No word yet on whether Gal Gadot will be picking up the golden lasso again and reprising her role. Ice Spice will be bringing the cool factor to the new upcoming SpongeBob movie. The rapper will not only voice one of the characters, but will also record a new original song for the film. The SpongeBob movie, Search for SquarePants, is set to release in December.
Look, Joe, 6 feet.
Joaquin Phoenix and Pedro Pascal face off in Eddington. Described as a modern Western, the movie centers on a showdown between a sheriff and a small-town mayor during the tensest days of the COVID pandemic. Eddington hits theaters next month. In Hollywood, I'm Rick Damigella.
If you are having a rough week, you can cheer up with a weekly dose of local good news from Coast TV with personal features, fun things to do each weekend, and more. You can sign up right now for free at coasttv.com and get your weekly dose of joy directly to your inbox on Friday.
We are seeing some areas of haze, a little bit of fog in Ocean City, and that extends back to Salisbury. So take it a little slow the next couple of hours, but that burns up because behind a cold front, sunny, drier, lower humidity today, just gorgeous, and then warm to hot the rest of the weekend, a little muggier, and then it's the weekend. And we're looking at unsettled weather, looking a little wet, even for Dad on Sunday. I'll have your full forecast details in 2 minutes. Stay tuned.
The time is now 5:48, and we are taking a live look outside at Ocean City this morning. And Bob, you said something we haven't heard in a couple of days. It's gorgeous outside, but of course, that smoke, it's back a little bit, Bob.
It is, courtesy of Canada and their wildfires. I think we are still dealing with a little bit of that smoke, Elisa. Upper layers of the atmosphere, not going to be a health problem, but you know, it's going to dry out today, but that sky may not be that brilliant blue, maybe hazy, because we are looking at areas of smoke coming through. At times it'll look a little bluer, the sky, and other times a little hazier. This evening, probably a little hazier. And then we go into Thursday, and I think the skies will be a little bluer then, and then in the afternoon, maybe a little hazier as we see this smoke in the upper layers of the atmosphere. There is a little bit of fog this morning, 3/4 of a mile in fog in Salisbury. This is a little thick down here, and then that extends back towards Ocean City a little bit. Elsewhere, I think we're in good shape. We're just seeing some haze elsewhere, and a cold front will quickly scour out that fog as we go through the morning. 67, the start in Georgetown temperature-wise, 70 right now in Ocean City. Bethany Beach, 68 in Rehoboth, so a mild start to the day, and the winds have swung around to the west-northwest. We like to see that direction this time of year, indicating drier air building in, but it's going to take a little while as we are seeing, once again, some pockets of fog, some clouds out there, nothing in the way of rain. That has moved offshore as we're tracking a cold front that is headed our way now around Annapolis back through D.C., and that'll be sliding through here in the next couple of hours, scouring out that fog and humidity. And in the wake of the front, we're looking at drier air building in. It'll be a warm day, but noticeably drier, especially as we go into the afternoon, as high pressure is building in from the west, clear skies all the way from Maine back through Illinois right now, and this high will keep us well nice and dry the next couple of days, but then it's going to start to percolate a little bit. We're going to see high pressure both at the surface and aloft, so that means building heat as we go through the week, and humidity as well. Mid to upper 80s, close to 90 tomorrow, then mid 80s on Friday, and we're going to add some humidity in there as well. Here's Futurecast this morning, watching for the haze and fog from Seaford to Salisbury towards Ocean City. The rest of us are in pretty good shape, and then that front comes through. Then we start to scour out the humidity with temperatures in the mid-70s mid-morning. By noon, pretty toasty, 81 in Seaford and Millsboro and Selbyville. Beautiful at the beaches with 70s and 80s there, and make sure you have your sunscreen handy. You're going to need it. 80 in Rehoboth, 83 in Lewis, 84 in Georgetown to 85 in Salisbury, and noticeably drier, more comfortable as we go into the afternoon. A beautiful evening if you're out and about. And then through the overnight hours, clear to partly cloudy skies, maybe a little bit of fog once again as we go into Thursday morning, and mild with 60s and 70s. Then as we go into the noon hour, maybe a few clouds with mid 80s, 86 in Lewis, and then pretty hot by mid-afternoon, flirting with 90 in Long Neck, 88 in Milton, upper 80s from Seaford back through Selbyville. But at the immediate coast, that's where you'll find some relief with temperatures in the 70s and 80s. So some beautiful beach weather the next couple of days as we do see an increase in clouds into Thursday night. I think Friday for the most part is dry, and then Saturday, the weekends, we've had a bad trend with weekends lately being unsettled. Looks like this one is the same. Showers and some storms Saturday. I was hoping for a drier day for Dad on Sunday, but it looks like kind of cloudy and kind of showery as we go into your Sunday. I don't think it'll be a washout, but the rain will be around, and I think that rain could linger linger into Monday as well. And as far as the muggy weather, I think we get a little break today, and then it's humid to very humid end of the week and into the weekend. And then it looks like it does dry out a little bit as we go into early next week, as we get closer and closer to the official start of summer coming up here in about a week and a half. Paul Davis, 7-day forecast, 84 today, close to 90 Thursday. Couldn't pull the trigger on 90. I went 89. 86 Friday, and then showers and storms Saturday, 82. Sunday, kind of cloudy, cool for Dad with some showers, 76. That rain lingers into Monday. Drying out Tuesday, mostly cloudy, and 78.
Thank you, Bob. We do have developing news in Sussex County. A Milton man is behind bars after he was accused of repeatedly sexually abusing a child. This is over several years. Lewis police say 50-year-old Kevin Boyer was arrested June 6th following a month-long investigation. He's charged with multiple felonies for alleged abuse that took place between 2016 and 2021. That's when the victim was between 7 and 12 years old. Boyer is being held on a more than $200,000 bond.
Happening now in Worcester County, the closure of north and southbound lanes that began at midnight on Route 13 is supposed to have reopened about an hour ago. This is in the area of Bishop Bill Road and Kepler Lane to allow for the movement of oversized natural gas tanks. The upcoming closures are Friday, June 13th, Monday, the 16th, and Wednesday, the 18th. Maryland Department of Transportation State Highway Administration officials say they expect the roadway to reopen by 5 o'clock every morning.
Maryland State Police are helping families to stay safe online through a campaign called Operation Safe Online Summer. State Police Technical Crimes Unit says children and seniors are the most vulnerable to online threats. Tips for parents include monitoring your child's device use, knowing who they talk to, and controlling app downloads. Senior citizens are encouraged to avoid sharing personal information and beware of suspicious emails or tech support scams.
The time is now 5:53, and we are going to check in with our coastal pet of the day.
Today's coastal pet of the day wants to say hello on your screen. That is Moo. Moo is 15 years old and has been loved by his family since he was a kitten. Moo is very loving and sits with his family every night to watch TV. That's great. Moo was submitted to us by Carolyn J. in Lewis.
I love that. We want to see more of your pets on Delmarva. Send us photos and tell us what makes them so special. You can take a look at your screen.
That's where the QR code is. Scan it. Then you can get your friends to us and then watch weekdays, 5 to 7 a.m. to see all the pets we feature.
The time is now 5:57, and we are going to take another look at your forecast before you head out the door.
Bob, we're working on a pleasant Wednesday. Let's keep this up.
Yeah, we are dealing with a little bit of fog and haze ahead of a cold front this morning, but once that front comes through, winds will shift to the northwest, bringing some drier air, sunshine, gorgeous conditions today. Mid-80s this afternoon, lower humidity, around 84. Paul Davis 10-day forecast, flirting with 90 Thursday, 89 mostly sunny, mid-80s Friday, and then into the weekend, unfortunately, the weather does sour a little bit. Showers and storms Saturday, 82. Unfortunately for Dad, on Sunday, cloudy, cooler with showers. Those showers linger into Monday, still upper 70s into Tuesday, and then mid-80s to upper 80s Wednesday through Friday. Maybe another chance of showers by next Thursday.
Thanks, Bob. Coming up in our next hour, blow Delta County decision. Delaware lawmakers closer to nullifying the move made about a key piece of the controversial wind farm project. That and more when Coast TV News Today continues.